You work, you pay your bills, you maybe even save a little. And yet, year after year, nothing really changes. You tell yourself you just need to earn a little more. Get that next raise. Wait for the right moment. And that moment never comes. Here's what nobody told you. It's not your fault. Not entirely. The system you were born into, the schools, the banks, the advertisements, the culture, was not designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you functional, predictable, spending. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how that system works. And more importantly, how a small percentage of people figured out how to escape it. Stay with me, because this might be the most important video about money you've ever watched. Let's start with a story. Meet Alex. Alex is 32 years old. He has a decent job, makes about $55,000 a year. He drives a reasonable car, lives in a rented apartment in the city, goes out on weekends, buys the new iPhone when his contract renews, takes one vacation a year, usually on a credit card. By almost every cultural standard, Alex is doing fine. But here's Alex's actual financial picture. After taxes, he takes home about $3,700 a month. Rent is $1,200. Car payment is $380. Insurance, $180. Subscriptions, Netflix, Spotify, gym, cloud storage, another $120. Groceries and household, $400. Going out, coffee, small daily purchases, $300. Student loan minimum payment, $250. That's $2,830 gone before Alex has made a single conscious financial decision this month. He has $870 left. Some months, he saves $200. Some months, he saves nothing. Some months, he goes negative and quietly moves money from his small emergency fund. Alex is not irresponsible. Alex is not stupid. Alex is not lazy. Alex is exactly where the system expects him to be. And the terrifying part? Most people reading this are closer to Alex than they'd like to admit. Here's the number that should keep you up at night. According to a Federal Reserve report, nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing money or selling something. Not $4,000, $400. And this isn't just an American problem. Across the developed world, in Europe, in Russia, in Southeast Asia, the middle class is running on financial fumes. High income, low savings, high consumption, low assets. So what's actually going on? Think back to your entire education. How many classes did you take on personal finance? How to read a tax return? How compound interest works in your favor or against you? How to evaluate an investment? How debt actually functions? For most people, the answer is zero. Or maybe one class in high school that you've completely forgotten. This is not an accident. The modern school system was largely designed during the Industrial Revolution. Its goal was not to create independent wealth builders. It was to create reliable workers. People who would show up on time, follow instructions, and trade their labor for a paycheck. That model is still running today. We teach children literature, chemistry, history, all valuable things. But we do not teach them how money works, how markets function, how to build assets, how to read a balance sheet. And when children grow up not knowing these things, they make predictable mistakes. They spend first and save what's left, which is usually nothing. They take on debt for things that decrease in value. They confuse income with wealth. There's a difference between income and wealth that almost nobody explains clearly. Income is the money flowing into your life. Wealth is what remains when the flow stops. A doctor earning $300,000 a year who spends $295,000 a year is not wealthy. A teacher earning $45,000 a year who consistently invests $800 a month is building wealth. The system conditions us to chase income, to equate a bigger paycheck with financial progress. But income without asset accumulation is just an expensive hamster wheel. And the moment you stop running, whether through illness, job loss, economic crisis, the wheel stops too. Now let's talk about something darker. Because it's not just that nobody taught you about money. It's that entire industries, worth trillions of dollars, are built on exploiting the exact psychological weaknesses that make financial discipline so hard. Let's start with advertising. The average person sees between 4,000 and 10,000 advertisements per day. Every single one of those ads has one goal: to make you feel that your current life is slightly insufficient, that you need something, that happiness, status, comfort, it's just one purchase away. This is not accidental. This is engineered. Advertisers have spent decades studying human psychology. They know that we are wired for social comparison, that we feel pain when we perceive ourselves as having less than our peers, that we are vulnerable to the idea of identity, that what we own says something about who we are. So they sell us not products, but versions of ourselves. The car isn't just transportation, it's status. The watch isn't just time, it's success. The vacation isn't just rest, it's proof that you've made it. And the brilliant, insidious part of this is that it never ends. Because the moment you buy that thing, the new car, the designer jacket, the upgraded apartment, the feeling of sufficiency lasts maybe 3 months. And then you adapt. And then you need the next thing. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The things we think will make us happy, we get used to them fast. And then we're back to baseline, reaching for the next purchase. Now combine that with the ease of modern credit. 100 years ago, if you wanted something you couldn't afford, you simply didn't have it. Today, you can have almost anything immediately. The credit card, the buy now, pay later button, the personal loan approved in 3 minutes on your phone. This frictionless access to debt has fundamentally changed spending behavior. Studies show that people spend 12 to 18% more when paying by card versus cash. The physical act of handing over money creates a moment of pain, a psychological speed bump. Digital payments remove that completely. And credit card companies know this. They designed reward points, cashback systems, and loyalty programs specifically to make spending feel like winning. You're not going into debt. You're earning miles. You're not overspending. You're getting 2% back. The math rarely adds up, but the feeling does. So we've established that you weren't taught about money, and that powerful forces are working against your ability to save it. Now, let's get specific about the 3 mechanisms that keep most people financially stuck for decades. Trap 1. Lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of wealth. Here's how it works. You start your career earning $35,000 a year. Life is tight, but you manage. Then you get a raise. Now you're at $45,000. And almost automatically, without conscious decision, your expenses rise to match. A nicer apartment, a newer car, more dinners out, better clothes, then $60,000, then $75,000. And at every stage, your lifestyle expands to absorb the increase. This pattern is so common and so powerful that studies consistently show people earning $150,000 a year feeling just as financially stressed as people earning $50,000. Because the expenses grew with the income, the wealthy do something different. They call it paying yourself first. When their income rises, they increase their savings and investment rate before they increase their lifestyle. They build the gap between income and expenses intentionally, and then they deploy that gap into assets. Trap 2. Debt as a way of life. There's a type of debt that builds wealth, a business loan that generates more revenue than it costs, a mortgage on a property that appreciates. And there's a type of debt that destroys it: consumer debt, credit cards, car loans, buy now, pay later on clothes and electronics. The average American carries about $6,000 in credit card debt at an average interest rate of 20 to 24%. That means they're paying $1,200 to $1,400 per year just in interest for things they have already consumed, things that no longer exist in any meaningful way in their life. That $1,200 invested every year for 30 years at a 7% average return would be worth over $113,000. This is the invisible tax that consumer debt places on your future. And the trap is self-reinforcing. When money is tight, because interest is eating your cash flow, the temptation to use credit increases, which increases the debt, which increases the interest, which tightens the cash flow further. The system is elegant in its cruelty. Trap 3. The waiting illusion. This is perhaps the most psychologically powerful trap of all. I'll start investing when I have more money. I'll start saving when the kids are grown. I'll deal with my finances when things calm down at work. The waiting illusion is the belief that your future self will somehow have more discipline, more resources, more time than your current self. But your future self will face a different set of pressures and an identical set of excuses. And the cost of waiting is not abstract. It is mathematical and devastating. If you invest $300 a month starting at age 25 and earn a 7% average annual return, you'll have approximately $910,000 by age 65. If you wait until 35 to start the same investment, same amount, same return, you'll have about $454,000. 10 years of waiting cost you $456,000, not because you made fewer contributions, but because compound interest is exponential, and the early years are the most powerful. Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he said that or not, the math is undeniable. Time is the one asset you cannot buy back. Here's where I want to stop and tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Everything I've described, the lack of financial education, the psychological manipulation by advertisers, the debt traps, the structural disadvantages, all of that is real. All of that is working against you. But here's the reframe. The fact that the system is rigged does not mean you are powerless. It means you need to understand the game before you can play it differently. Because here's what the wealthy figured out. Not all of them through genius, but through information that was simply available to them earlier. Wealth is not primarily about how much you earn. It is about the relationship between what you earn, what you spend, and what you own. Assets generate income. Liabilities consume it. The wealthy accumulate assets. Most people accumulate liabilities they think are assets. Your car is not an asset. It depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot. Your wardrobe is not an asset. Your phone is not an asset. A stock portfolio is an asset. Rental property, potentially, is an asset. A business that generates cash flow without requiring your constant presence is an asset. And here's the part that nobody in school explained. Assets don't require you to be present to generate income. That's the entire point. You build them once, or you buy them, and they work while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're spending time with your family. The wealthy don't have more hours in the day. They have their money working more hours than they do. The shift from thinking about income to thinking about assets is the single most important mental transition in personal finance, and almost nobody teaches it explicitly. Let's talk about the 5%, not the billionaires. Their world involves capital and access that most of us don't have. I mean the people in your city, in your income bracket, who are quietly building wealth while everyone around them spins in place. What do they do differently? First, they live on less than they earn, deliberately and consistently. Not dramatically, not by suffering, but by making a conscious decision early that their savings rate is non-negotiable. They automate it. Before the money hits their spending account, a portion is already gone into an investment account, a retirement fund, a brokerage. Second, they invest in boring things, index funds, broad market ETFs, real estate over time. They are not day trading. They are not chasing crypto pumps. They are not looking for the next big thing. They are consistently buying ownership in the global economy. And they are patient. The average annual return of the S&P 500 over the last 50 years, including crashes, recessions, and crises, is approximately 10% before inflation, about 7% after. That's not exciting. But $500 a month at 7% for 30 years is $566,000 from $500 a month. Third, they protect their downside. Emergency fund, insurance, no catastrophic single bets. Wealth preservation is as important as wealth creation. Fourth, they continually increase their financial literacy. They read, they learn, they understand what they own. They don't make decisions based on tips from relatives or headlines from financial news. And fifth, they start before they're ready. Because there is no ready. There's only now and later, and the exponential difference between the two. So where does that leave you? If you're watching this and feeling a mix of frustration and something like hope, that's the right reaction. Because understanding the problem is the first step to moving through it. Here's what I want you to do this week. Not this year. Not when things calm down. This week. 1. Calculate your actual savings rate. Take what you saved last month, divide it by your take-home income. If it's below 10%, that's your starting point. Not a judgment, a baseline. 2. Find one expense that is a lifestyle inflation item. Something you pay for that your life would genuinely not be worse without. Cancel it. Redirect that money. 3. Open an investment account if you don't have one. It doesn't matter if you only put in $50 to start. The behavior is more important than the amount right now. The amount will grow. The habit has to come first. 4. Learn one new financial concept every week. 1. Compound interest, index funds, expense ratios, net worth, dollar cost averaging. One concept, 7 days. In a year, you'll have 52 concepts. You will think about money differently. The system is not designed for your financial freedom, but you now know that. And knowledge, applied consistently over time, is the only force that actually compounds faster than interest. 95% of people will stay where they are, not because they're incapable, but because they never stopped to understand why they were stuck. You just did. Now it's your turn to do something with it.